Another week in Galaxy of Heroes, and we finally see what Capital Games had planned for us during this coronavirus crisis. We have never before seen $75 packs. They mentioned that there was something coming here soon, that they were going to entertain us. We have never before seen $50 packs. We see that there's an EA Play campaign of EA Stay and Play. We also saw on StarWars.com that we could expect some new content this week. We have never before seen $25 packs. That's right, we have packs available to you of every spending level. $25, $50, $75. It doesn't matter, you want to spend. We are here to take your money. Go ahead and buy one of these mod packs now. So let's get into a review of this week and see what I give a thumbs up or a thumbs down in this episode of Good and Bad. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Good and Bad. I am Finity with Reality Skewed Gamers, and we are here once again to review a game and let you know what we think about what happened over the past week. Now, the game we are reviewing is Star Wars Galaxy of Hero, a mobile game produced by EA Capital Games, and this is our main game that we cover. So if you are new to watching this, we appreciate you guys watching. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up if you haven't already, and let's jump into the news. Now, the first piece of news that came out is obviously going to be about GAC. We are finally back into GAC mode again. We have our weeks planned ahead as we're ready to do our battles, and we got a little bit of idea about what the feats are that are going to be involved in this. All of the feats are related to the rebels. It is a good thing. I like these ones, and these feats are getting a thumbs up. I like the creativity behind it. Now, while there is some confusion about some of the feats requiring pilots, but including characters like Farm Boy Luke and Commander Luke Skywalker, I like the concept behind it. I like that they're introducing some of the actual kind of movie and kind of the regular type of canon stuff into these feats, allowing us to kind of play around a little bit with that and not creating these random amalgamations of teams and compositions that we really have to play with. I am still sad that they are not going to introduce Porkins into the game, but even then, this is getting a thumbs up from me.
Business is good.
I like these feats compared to some of the ones in the past. We then finally got a little bit of update about what CG was planning this entire time for the game while we were in the coronavirus crisis. And they had mentioned that they were working on some things to keep us entertained and giving us something here in the near future. And we finally got that in a little bit of information about the EA Stay and Play campaign, where all of their games are doing some little things here and there in order to help us. Now, what did they ultimately do? What they decided to do was give us double drops. I am really excited about this. They gave us additional mythic tiers and assault battles and all of this as well, which I do like. But ultimately, I think the double drops is a very nice thing to give to players during this time. So I am giving it a thumbs up.
Business is good.
In addition to that, they also mentioned that this is not going to be replacing May the 4th content, which was a concern amongst many players. So the fact that we are getting this, in addition to May the 4th content at the beginning of next month, is hopefully going to boost some of the community morale. That isn't to say that there wasn't some stuff that did hurt the morale, which I will get to here shortly, but this in general I think was a really good thing. Now, one thing of controversy with this was the fact that the Galactic Legend tickets were not included in the double drops. I can understand that from both sides. I think if you're giving double drops, it would be nice to have it, but they also don't want to necessarily accelerate the rate that people are getting their Galactic Legends. So while I don't mind it either way here, I mean, I know some people didn't like it. I particularly didn't have an issue with it. It doesn't bother me too much. I am glad that they're giving double drop for everything else in the game. That being said, let's jump into the content update. Now, the content update did mention things about the EA Stay and Play campaign, so that is definitely a good thing. However, overall, this content update is getting a thumbs down.
This is bad.
The reason it's getting a thumbs down is because of the new packs that they introduced to the game. These are quite possibly the worst packs I have seen in Galaxy of Heroes. If they aren't the worst, they are very much up there. The quality of these packs is awful. They don't provide value for the players. And for $75 for these mods is a very bad value. They could have done a lot more with these packs. You have players, because of the Star Wars IP, willing to spend on things, and they come out with something that is just the worst pack that is possible. It is a huge disappointment from my end. I know that a lot of people are not spending right now, and for anyone out there, please make sure that you live within your financial means, especially right now. There are a lot of people that have lost their jobs, unemployment is at new highs, all this stuff, but there are still people spending out there on this game. You could have easily found a way to give them something to spend on and enjoy during this time while they're trapped at home. Instead, they give us some of the worst packs ever with nice little titles of never before seen, like somehow that's going to change our minds about the quality of the pack. It once again goes to the disconnect between what players think is valuable and what devs think is valuable and what they're trying to monetize. So this whole content update is definitely getting a thumbs down because it is just awful. Outside of the double drops for the EA stay and play stuff, the packs were awful. This is just a very bad look for. But they have some chance for recovery with the next thing that they're going to introduce, which is still kind of questionable. So this one is neither getting a thumbs up nor a thumbs down. It's saying neutral right now because of the precedent that was already set by CG. CG also released a post talking about their new player early evaluation test program. Now, first off, the title is awful, right? There's no logic behind calling it a player early evaluation test program. You know that it's going to be called the P-test program. That is what it is. You are P-testing with players. That is what this is becoming. Why you had to come up with that kind of name is ridiculous. You used to have it called the open beta test program submission. This is also why I'm not giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. While we wanted a beta program for players and some way to test content before it was released, you have done this before and completely ignored the submissions of players. So I don't know where this is going to lead. We see this P-test program coming in. They're asking for people to submit. I will be one to submitting because I'm invested in this game and I want it to survive, and I want to make sure that the decisions they make move in the right direction. But I applied for the last one, and also nobody heard back about that, and that program basically fell flat. So now we will see what they do with their P-test program. Again, no thumbs up, no thumbs down on this because of the precedent that they set where you give them, they'll start this, they'll make it seem like a show. Will they actually follow through? So we will continue to monitor this over the next few weeks and see whether or not they actually implement this program or whether this is all for show once again. And if it is, then it's definitely getting a thumbs down. But overall, reviewing the week, I have to give this week a thumbs up. Now, while these were some of the worst packs that were ever released, every player has the option to not buy it. It is not something in the game that truly impacts players. You can just simply avoid buying it. It is disappointing from the perspective of CG. However, for players, ignore the packs, continue what you're doing. You get double drops this week, which means you get free loot. That is why I'm giving this a thumbs up. It's a nice thing to have these double drops. Take advantage of it. Farm some shards, farm some gear. There's so much things that every player needs right now. So overall, this week is getting a thumbs up for me, particularly because of the double drops. And with that, I'm Infinity with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Good and Bad. And again, if you could take a second, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below if you enjoyed the content. Leave comments below about what you think about this week too. Was it a good week? Was it a bad week for you? Let me know some of the details. And again, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Make sure you check out some of the content in case you haven't seen some of the RSG content. Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. is our longest running live stream in Galaxy of Heroes, and we are approaching our 200th episode. So please make sure you check that out this coming Wednesday. And if you have any other questions, head on to the RSG Discord link below. So once again, I'm Infinity with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode of Good and Bad, and I will see you next week. Take care.